what amazing possibilities can come out of you preparing for something. Hello, and today as you noticed, I'll be talking about preparation, okay? So, one of my coaches, JT Fox, is very big on preparation. He talks a lot about it. It's and this does not only apply to business, it also applies to school, it applies to work, it applies to uh, friendship, it applies to cooking, it applies to any sphere of your life, right? Self development, also mindset. Now, why do I say that? Preparation helps you achieve a lot, right? And I can only talk of my experience, and I'm going to refer back to my accident because that's what I have the most control over, right? That's the one thing I know a lot about. Maybe not necessarily in the details, especially when I was in a coma, right? But what I can say is the as I was preparing for this video, what came to mind was my impulsiveness. So after my being hit by that car, and after me being in that coma for that long of a time, or that induced coma for that long of a time, when I woke up, things had reverted back to that of a 3-year-old, meaning my mentality, my manners, my impatience, all those things had reverted back to that of a 3-year-old that I noticed. And so I needed to rework them and uh, impl- rearrange things in my life so that I can be more social, if you will. Now, uh, so how is this related to preparation? Now, when my father noticed that I was being impulsive, or when I was doing stupid things, okay, or things that I didn't really think through, but I did just because I got the intuitive hit, not the intuitive hit, but I got the want, the urge, the impulse to do it. My father gave me a trick on how to manage my impulsiveness. And so, uh, basically, preparation will allow you to achieve a goal. Okay? Ultimately, that's what you are looking for. That's what you want. When you set a goal, when you set something in your mind, you want to achieve it. And so, what happened, right, with my problem with my impulsiveness? With this tool, my father allowed me to gain mastery over my own impulsiveness, gain mastery over my mind, if you will. And so, as much as you might think that winging it might be good, but when you wing it, you're not really sure on how everything lands. For example, I also have another coach, Christopher Dedeon, who is my like public speaking coach. And so when you see a public speaker on stage, you see this eloquent speaker talking, moving very fluently and in such a way that it seems natural, like it seems like it wasn't rehearsed, but like lived out on stage. When in actuality, the amount of hours practiced, the amount of hours put into this, and repeating the same thing over and over again and doing the same movements and the same things make it seem natural, right? It's just like anything that you've repeated enough times in your life correctly, you will do well, right? So, for example, how like when people walk, do you question if they've learned how to walk yesterday? No. Or drive. They've done it so often that they now can do it naturally. It is the same principle with speaking, right? Going on stage, and as I mentioned, they practice it so often that it kind of becomes like a dance with the audience, a dance, a theater play, like a monologue, if you will, and so that is the key. Preparation, practice, even like preparing a role, right? Any actor prepares a role before they go on stage or before they go on set. They need to, because or else they don't know what parameters they need to abide by, right? They need to respect. And if they don't know that, there was one comedian who, I can't remember his name, but he was a British comedian who did an American movie, and it's like he was talking about the fact that he did like all accents, American accents, some even in one take. So it's quite funny, but because I don't know, but I mean it's just hilarious. But everything needs to be practiced. I'm still laughing at he did all these accents. I mean, I guess his character lived in many states and was kind of confused, like, accent wise. In either case. So, the utility of preparation is that once you get to do what you need to do, you become, or you are so proficient at it that it looks like magic. But until you get to that point, you are going to have to practice enough, right? Just think about driving. Like, I don't drive, but just to get your learner's permit, how many hours do you need to practice? A lot. Even then, you still are like on probation the first year, and so on and so forth. So, as much as we think things can be done naturally, it's true, but most of those are just strokes of genius or good luck. What's the wording I'm trying to use? But we think of mainly the people who are lucky that go on stage, like they get it down during their first try. But that might not be because they practiced that specific thing, but they have done a ton of work prior. So whatever they're doing has become a automatic response. So they don't need to think about doing it because it's in their memory bank. So all in all, preparation is necessary to get what you want done. Might not be preparation right now, but I can tell you this, okay? I don't know how I look on camera at this point, but I have had years of practice, okay? I have done this, like, I started a couple years ago. I started while I was still in CEGEP, which is college, and it's kind of stopped-ish when I was in university. Then I picked it back up, and then I stopped again, stopped. But at least I know the framework. I know how this works, so I can do it more. Or at least when I do it, it's not so difficult because I have all this prior experience. And I've always liked speaking in front of crowds, so to me this is not difficult. I mean, there are still things I need to learn. There are still ways I can improve, But all in all, I feel like my practice helped me get here. It's like when they say that everything that has happened in your life has happened to prepare you for something specific. And so if you want to kind of shorten the curve of whatever you want to realize, take a look at what you've experienced in your life and how you can make it better, or how everything that you've done has led you up to this point, preparing you for specific things, and it's kind of like it's like a video game, okay? If you think in the line in regards to a video game, what happens? You have like levels, right? And during the entire level, you prepare yourself to fight a boss or to complete a certain task or something along those lines. It's the exact same thing, except instead of it being in a video game, it is in real life. That's the only difference. Where the probability of falling flat on your face and hurting yourself is more real, but doesn't it doesn't actually uh, create more. What am I trying to say? It doesn't make things more harder. It just makes things more tangible. That's all. Right? It's all in your mind. So, if you can either make it in, well, it depends on you. So, if you make what you're doing into a fun game, you might actually enjoy completing tasks. Or if you need a little more structure in your life, if you need more seriousness in your life, there are always ways to bring yourself down to earth, ground yourself, make yourself understand that this is not a game. Well, it is, but it's technically not. This is more woo stuff, so it really depends on you guys how you like to see it. But I view life as a game, as a fun game, and I mean, and you guys, for those of you who have followed me for far long enough, you know that I was hit by a car when I was 19. So I've actually gotten hurt and was able to get back to what I was. Not to put it in people's faces and be like, "Oh my God, I'm the best." I'm not the best. It took me 7 years just to get back to normal from my accident, which I can understand. For some people, it's very short, but I mean, just to say that if I can do it, you can do it as well. I'm not trying to gloat, I'm not trying to do any of that, but I'm just saying if it's a possibility for me, it's a possibility for you. Okay? So, what sphere of your life can you improve your way of doing things? Let me know.